The Lego saga continues because today we're hearing that the Bricks and Minifigs owner lied to the police. We're going to be going into all of the details of this and then determine how it's going to impact the case overall. Have you guys been following this scandal on my channel? If you have, let me know in the comments. By the way, I'm going to be diving in this morning, drinking my morning coffee. It tastes extra delicious in this mug. I know you have a favorite mug as well. Let me know what you're drinking. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Now let's dive into the story.
The Bricks and Minifigs situation has a brand new development because Joshua Johnson, our favorite bald-headed, happy guy who likes to have his dogs out during police interactions, has just made a response to CoffeeZilla exposing him in his entire video that he released like last week or whatever. And yeah, it's a pretty interesting response, so let's just get right into it. This is from Legacy Killa HD on X or Twitter. So first of all, the original thing that happened in the CoffeeZilla video that started all this is CoffeeZilla reached out to Joshua Johnson and said, "How many layaways were left over when you took the store? Do you know?" And Josh said 2 to 3 sets were on layaway, right? Obviously, that was heavily conflicting with what Crystal said in the same video when CoffeeZilla reached out to her and what she said her records reflected. She said the vast majority, I think, of Brian Mansell's collection was on layaway.
Now, let me give you a little context in case you're new to this entire story. I'll do it briefly for those of you that already know. Basically, someone put on layaway around $200,000 worth of Lego at a Lego store. The Lego store was then taken over by Bricks and Minifigs, the parent company, and then all of that layaway, all of that value had mysteriously gone missing. It was not accounted for, and the owner was basically losing out on all of his money. Then a content creator came in and tried to expose all of this, getting himself in trouble with the law because of breaking some local laws, but more importantly, Bricks and Minifigs and the police seem to be working together in some way, and we're trying to take down this YouTuber to silence him. That is the very quick version. I've detailed it in much more detail in previous videos if you want to go check them out.
Because there were so many high-ticket items, and I'll get more into this later, but basically, there was some conflicting information. And CoffeeZilla found this police report, got access to this police report that says in this highlighted section, by the way, which is another interesting detail. However, due to the claim that Mr. Mansell continues to call the business despite being told not to and encouraging others to do so as well, he does not want to give these items to Mr. Mansell. He added that he also doesn't feel he needs to, since the store's inventory became his once he took it over. So that's just a part of the police report where Josh basically told the police that, hey, Brian is just harassing me, he keeps calling me, so I'm just not going to give him his property back, even if I know it's his. So that's basically how it works. I'll keep it if I want to. If Brian isn't making me feel good, if he isn't being kind, I just won't give his stuff back. I'll just hang on to it forever and, steal it. Sounds like a fair thing. Yeah, I don't know if Josh knows how, let's say, the law or morals or anything like that works. But with that being said, this police report also says that Josh told the police the vast majority of items were on layaway when he took over the store.
Now, I just don't understand how Bricks and Minifigs can come take over the store, know that there's things on layaway, and not either one, continue the layaway deal that was in place where they're going to be getting approximately 20% of all the sale and 80% goes back to the owner. Or two, just return all the items. Trying to steal the items does not seem like the right way to go. It seems like they've gotten themselves in so much more trouble with all of this, staining the name forever, that they should have just done the right thing from the start. I mean, isn't that the moral of many of the stories that we discuss here on the channel? Do the right thing, then most likely in life, good things will happen your way. But once you start being shady and you start trying to be greedy, keeping things for yourself, in this case, $200,000 worth of Lego, trying to take some extra profit, you're gonna find yourself in a tough situation, and it is definitely tough right now.
So, CoffeeZilla sends a message to Josh and said, "You told the police the vast majority of items in the store were layaway items?" And Josh says that is either an exaggeration by the police officer or a mistake by me. There was no list left of any layaway. The only layaway I am aware of was the Ewok Village. I had nothing to do with the day-to-day operations of the store. I wouldn't know if they were layaways. I wouldn't have been asked about it either. Amanda, the store manager, or the two employees that were there under Crystal and Brandon would basically know more than me, he's saying, would know the day-to-day operations. And he goes on to list a bunch of random excuses. I'll show them on screen. You can read them if you want. I really don't feel like just reading all of these blatant lies and excuses that don't make up for the lie that Josh was just caught in. But basically, Josh here is saying, yeah, you know, I might be a little mistaken. I might have made a little mistake, but it's the police. They're exaggerating. And, oh, my manager, my employees, everyone under me, they're the ones to blame. They know.
Yeah, he's clearly trying to deflect any blame onto his staff, onto the police. You don't make claims in a police investigation that you just don't know if they're true or not. You'll direct the police to the people that may know the information. If I own a store and I don't know if items are layaway or not, I would say, I'm not sure. Let's have a discussion with the manager of the store who has a better understanding of the inventory, versus just making up complete lies and then saying things later on that the store manager would have known better. It just seems like a more responsible business choice to do as the owner of this entire thing.
I know what's going on. I only own the store. I don't know what's going on at my own store. Are you kidding me? I don't work there. It's just my store.
Okay, a little context on that. Maybe he doesn't know so well. I actually have a couple of friends who own multiple different stores in a franchise, and they spend very little time in their stores, and they're run by a store manager and a store team. And then once a week or so, they'll get on a meeting and kind of get updated on everything that's going on for that week inside of the store. It's a very hands-off type thing. This Bricks and Minifigs may be a very similar situation. So in defense of the store owner, maybe he doesn't know everything going on in the store because maybe he's a very hands-off owner and has his team running it. True, but that doesn't give him the excuse or doesn't give him the right to make up lies to police when they're interrogating him about the missing product. It's just handled the wrong way. If I am a store owner, and I'm a very distant store owner, I'm not present inside the store, it's not a store that I personally run. If I'm being questioned by police, I'm either gonna have the store manager who has a very much better understanding of the store's day-to-day than I do, on a call, on a video chat, or in person there with the police to give the most accurate information. There's no excuse for him not doing that. The only thing that I'm trying to point out is maybe he wasn't present on a day-to-day inside of the store as the owner.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, he basically dodges all the responsibility, doesn't take any accountability for that, and doesn't even outright say he's lying. He just said, yeah, I might be mistaken. I might have been mistaken when I told the police that, or they're exaggerating. So then Coffee eventually, you know, after some much needed conversation, he shows the screenshot of the police report catching Josh in this lie. And he says, if this is the Kaiser Police, May 6th, says the officer's name, it was in 2025, all of that. And of course, in that police report, it says that Josh told the police the vast majority of items in the store when he took it over were on layaway. So now Coffee not only says that the police report says that, he shows the police report and says, Josh, you know, you can't escape this. Like, here it is. You're obviously lying one way or the other here.
CoffeeZilla, by the way, is one of the best investigative reporters. I absolutely love what he puts together and how he's able to, him and of course his team, are able to just kind of put people on the spot and just dig up that dirt.
Tell me what's up. And Josh says, oh, that's understandable. I was out of my mind angry. You know, nothing I said was coherent or reliable at the time. So basically the first part of his response here is to say, oh yeah, don't trust me when I was talking to the cops that I'm totally comfortable with venting to and telling everything because I think they're going to be on my side no matter what, by the way. Yeah, I was just angry, incoherent. You can't trust anything I said in the past because now it goes against me in the future. So basically, you can't use any of that against me because I don't think it makes me look too good now. So yeah, don't trust what I said in the past. Trust what I'm saying now, and trust that I'm not lying now. Trust that I'm telling you the truth because, yeah, I'm just a reliable guy. He likes to have his dogs out on the police body cam. And then he also goes on to say, let's just look at these sale records. It's also reasonable to believe that nobody is going to lay away small ticket items, only say $500 in value or more. So look at these sets that were sold that have a retail value of $500 or more and see if we sold them for 30% off or more. That will answer that question. Now look, I don't know how Bricks and Minifigs operates. I don't know the day-to-day, much like Josh. I don't know what's going on in these stores 100%. So I can't say for certain whether what Josh is saying here is completely reliable information or not. But I will say, he's trying to lead us away from certain evidence. He's saying, okay, I may have just lied to you. I may have been mistaken when I talked to the police. I was angry, unreliable, don't trust what I said then. Yeah, so maybe my story has changed like 3 times. But now you can trust me and I'm willing to help. This is where you look. Don't look over here, don't look over there. Look right here for the evidence and maybe you'll find it.
Yeah, it's just a jumbled story. It's him trying to chase his own answers. I mean, he lied throughout the entire thing. And something that we know as humans, as good human beings like myself and you are, is we know that when you lie, you're going to eventually get caught in your lies, especially when they're getting drawn out in a case like this one.
And my guess is, if you look exactly where he's telling you, you won't find what you're looking for. You won't find there's a bunch of items on layaway, or at least not more than 3,000 or whatever Josh was claiming earlier. And just from me reading this and having a little thought myself, he says nobody is going to lay away small ticket items, only say $500 in value or more. But there's one problem with that, as far as I understand it. Brian Mansell, he had a very large collection. It was like $100,000, right? Whatever it may have been worth. Say $100,000. I think $107,000 is the acceptable number now. A $107,000 Lego Star Wars collection. That's a lot of Lego Star Wars sets.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're not going to be worth $500 each or more. That's insane. But what does happen is when you have a store like Bricks and Minifigs with all this new inventory and all these customers are coming in, all these Lego Star Wars collectors and saying, whoa, you have some dang good inventory. I want to make a big purchase. You have a lot of heaters here, right? I want to make a big purchase, get multiple sets. Then you might want to do layaway because not everyone can afford to pay hundreds, thousands of dollars, in one big purchase for multiple sets. That doesn't mean that these items won't be on layaway. It doesn't mean people won't want these items on layaway if they're not $500 or more individually. You don't think people are going to buy multiple sets when you have a collection as good as this one, over $100,000 worth of Lego Star Wars sets? I guarantee you there were some really great sealed sets in that selection, and that is why a lot of customers probably had items on layaway.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Layaway is not something that we see being used as much in the current day because of, well, first of all, credit and how credit is so available to so many people. It will just be purchased and then the credit will be paid off over time versus layaway where you kind of purchase it, it gets held in the store and then it gets paid off until it's finally owned. But it makes a lot of sense when you have inventory that's not norm, right? If you own a Lego store or a Bricks and Minifigs store, the normal inventory that is provided by any company is going to be typically the newest inventory. A lot of those classic collectible sets, ones that have not been newly produced, those are the hard to find, the really exciting ones if you're a collector. And when you go into a store and there's $107,000 valued worth of Lego classic sets for Star Wars, that's going to be extremely exciting for collectors, and they're going to want to get as much of that as they possibly can, where layaway will come into play.
Multiple items on layaway because they wanted to bundle them up, buy multiples, and they couldn't afford to buy them all at one time because there's a lot of stuff there at one time that they all want. That's a great selection of sets, and obviously that can add up pretty quick. It doesn't mean every item's going to be $500. It doesn't mean that only items worth $500 individually could be on layaway. That is just, in my opinion, from what I understand, that's just a complete lie, and Josh is trying to trick us here. But yeah, it's not going to work. And if I'm right about my assumption that a lot of people probably bundled different items on layaway because they couldn't afford to buy it all at one time, then yeah, Josh was just caught in another lie. And say even all this information wasn't correct that Josh is now saying, who says we can trust it anyway? Because look at what this same person has done. Look at what he's told cops. Look at what he's texted CoffeeZilla in the past. Look at what he says when he's literally confronted with evidence disproving what he just told Coffee. Yeah, I don't think he's a very reliable person to be trusting at all, and at this point, we should just look at the evidence and assume Josh is going to try to lead us astray. Because nothing he said can really be trusted so far.
So the story keeps getting dug deeper and deeper. We're finding more and more lies, and essentially we're going to be able to see if Reckless Ben is going to be able to dig himself out of any of the legal trouble that he's in, which I believe he is. More information on that coming up in a video very soon. Well, I quite enjoyed this coffee throughout the video, I have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you did, and check out more of the Bricks and Minifig story right here. I'll see you guys over there.